Why the f*** do we care about helping companies that clearly f***ing hate us to tell them how to fix their bond? Make good shit and people will f*** it.
Listen, you dumb sucker. This is not about giving Jeff Bezos more money. We're simply talking about, right?
Nerdrotic.com.
I'm going to say it again. The binge model is unsustainable, and now it's been proven. You have to go weekly. Guess what? You can always binge when it's done, but no streaming service is ever going to do that again. It's dumb. You dump everything at once. It gets forgotten in a week, and you spend all that money on a series that could have a cultural footprint for 2 months.
I'm 100% supportive of the binge model. I disagree with Gary. I like the binge model, and it comes down to good shows. Everybody's looking forward to the next season of Cobra Kai. Everybody wants Cobra Kai.
It depends on the show.
No, it doesn't.
It's all about
doesn't make them any money.
That doesn't mean
make them any money.
But it doesn't mean, Jeremy, that if Cobra Kai wasn't released weekly, that it would still have that same hunger for it to come back. You're just saying because there is a show that is released weekly that has a lot of hype. That's all that matters. But what Gary's saying is that they can get a lot more bang for their buck by doing it that way, and the quality will still be there, which means people will still be excited for it.
It's a longevity thing.
Yeah. They're still making the mistake of not releasing the shit at the same time. Like fucking dropping shit in the middle of the fucking night is retarded.
2 a.m. is
really
There's two ways to look at it. Like I'm speaking from a fan standpoint. I like the binge model. If there's a business argument to it, I totally understand that. But the business argument is stop making woke bullshit, and you can still release good stuff all through the year, and you don't need to prolong it because you're going to have good stuff. Like if Stranger Things didn't fall off, if all these other shows don't fall off, just make good stuff all through the year, and you don't.
Well, you're not going to make good stuff. You want a watercolor show. You want Breaking Bad. You want Game of Thrones. Neither of those happen if they're dropped all at once. They just don't.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, especially with, social media and everything else, like it's a lot easier to sustain those conversations on a week by week basis as you're leading up to the next episode and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
So
and even for shit we like, Jeremy, think about when we talked about Cobra Kai for 1 week.
Yep.
Yeah. That was it. That's how long we talked about it, really.
And we liked it.
What if we were talking? Yeah, and we liked it. What if we were talking about it for 8 weeks, 10 weeks?
Wow.
Yeah, Amazon Prime changed from the binge model to the weekly model. They did it.
I think HBO Max has done that with a lot of their shows too, or at least some of them.
When the series is done, you can binge it, and it's a smart business decision. That's why every other streaming service went to weekly. There's a reason for it. They did they studied it.
I just think it's as simple as quality. Like if things are good, then I don't care about them making money. I care about them making a good product.
When it comes to product making, yes, quality has to be the epitome of everything you think about, and customer service. We're talking about fucking Hollywood. They don't give a shit about quality. Nobody cares. They're talking about content.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying, for me as a fan, if you're asking me what I want the binge model. Like that's what I want as the customer. I want the binge model.
To add on to what Jeremy's saying is that, like, especially when you are building up that anticipation towards the ending, and then the ending is a bit of a letdown. I think that is a bigger letdown if you're doing the weekly, because you're building up, and you're investing all of this like weeks and weeks and weeks. Mm-hmm. And so I think that also has a big determining factor on this as well.
A show will never get as big as fucking Game of Thrones then.
Yeah,
it just won't.
But Game of Thrones got big because it was great, not because it was a.
But that's the thing is that I would like to see the numbers to see if there's empirical data that more people watch with the week-to-week model versus the binge model.
Game of Thrones got big because it was great in the beginning, and then it turned into FOMO at the end.
And in fact, when it was biggest is when it was worst.
When it was
6, 7, 8, when it got progressively worse, more people were watching it than ever because it became a cultural thing, and people were all sitting around their fucking TVs watching HBO at the same time every
Sunday night.
Squid Game became the biggest thing we've ever seen on the streaming platform, and it was the binge model.
That's all those fucking Koreans that Chrissy was talking
about. It doesn't matter. You can bring whatever excuse you want, but the point is it took the world by storm. It became the biggest thing ever, and it was a binge model.
Well,
that's why you need the empirical data. We need the empirical data. We need the numbers. That's what we need to.
We need the numbers. We need the numbers, and there's a very good chance it was a one and done. It's a one-hit wonder. I'm talking Game of Thrones. 8 seasons where this fucking show builds up and has its highest ratings at the end, not diminishing returns by season 4, which has been everything on Netflix so far. Everything
But
has
that's
been
because none of
diminishing
them have been
returns.
good after 3 or 4 seasons.
Because
none
of the
of them have
binge
been
model. Because of the fucking binge
Yeah.
model.
Even
Jesus.
Mr. Beast
Cobra
was
Kai?
talking about how like they had to rush everything to get their Squid Games video out after Squid Games the show came out because they knew that it was
Pocket
going
of
to
time.
drop off.
But it didn't.
Yes, it did. Go
destroyed
make a
every
Squid Game video right
no,
now.
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
but they
I'm talking
had to
about
rush.
Mr. Beast video.
Like,
So Mr.
he said
Beast
that
video.
he said that they had to cancel pretty much everything else to get that video out on time for it to be in that time frame.
Yeah,
Right. But the
so
point
when
is
Game
that
of
it crushed every other Squid Game video.
for a minute. So
that
what?
was out.
So did the Macarena. But but Game of Thrones, like during its fucking run, any channel could release a Game of Thrones video and it would do well whenever, whether the show was running or not. That's the hit. That's what you're trying to achieve. Greatness. The ultimate greatness, not flash in the pan. That's what every streaming service, that's what they say in their boardroom. We want a Game of Thrones. 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 And they're doing it all fucking wrong. They're going about it all wrong because they're retards, most of them. There are a lot of functioning retards in Hollywood who have control of a lot of money. And I'm talking, again, purely as a business decision. You can binge whenever you want when the series is over. Like whenever the fuck you want. It's just dumb and it's not sustainable.
But the point is
instant gratification.
Right.
That's what it is.
But you're
It's
saying
instant gratification.
But if these shows had the quality of a Breaking Bad and had the quality of a Game of Thrones, obviously if Game of Thrones fell off. But the point is what I'm saying is, regardless of how we feel about it now, Game of Thrones was making the audience happy up until the final season. It just was. There were people that didn't like 7 as much as 6. I understand that, but the social media reactions was through the roof still. People were going crazy over it.
So you're saying Game of Thrones would have been
now.
just as big if it was a binge model?
I'm saying
We don't
that
know.
right now we don't have a
I'm telling you it
show
wouldn't
that
be.
has been the
I don't
binge
think
model.
so.
Stranger Things fell off in a quality standpoint in season 3 massively. That's the point. And Stranger Things is the only thing that right now has multiple seasons, I guess outside of Cobra Kai, that we can point to that direction. Now, Stranger Things season 4, we're going to see. There's people out there that I think have seen some of it and they've given it good feedback. So if Stranger Things season 4 gets it back on track, then we're going to be able to see. But Stranger Things is still a relevant franchise 4 seasons in under the binge model.
But that's the
Very
problem
relevant.
is that even when Stranger Things 4 comes out, even if it is good, people are going to talk about it for a week and then it's going to be over.
Yep.
But that's why I need the data, because you're saying like, oh, you talk about it for a week and then it's done. But how many people are talking about it for a week versus how many people are talking about it over a series of weeks? That's the only honest metric that we're going to be able to know whether there's an empirical difference between the two. That's the only way.
I think it makes sense that for marketing purposes and to build the audience. I hear what everyone's saying, and I agree with you. Quality comes first.
Yep.
But if you have a quality show, how do you build that audience? Well, I think it makes sense that if you extend the amount of time that it's airing and you build that anticipation, you can take an amazing show, a quality show, and get it in front of even more people. Because then there's weeks upon weeks of buzz and people talking about it, and it's
and everybody's
like Game of Thrones, goes on and on.
Well, I mean, exactly.
Well,
think about a show like Walking Dead. That fucking show has been trashed for fucking half its seasons, and people still watch it every single week
the numbers
because it's
are
a ritual.
but the numbers are substantially lower than
How
they
many
were
seasons
when
are
it
they
first
in right
started.
now? How many?
I don't know.
They're like 10.
I don't even care.
How many seasons did terrible shows like Batwoman get? I mean, let's
If
just be
it was
honest.
on a streaming service, that shit would have been half. As soon as it got boring, people would have been like, I'm not gonna watch this.
No, you can tell. You can tell how many people. If you're on YouTube as much as I am, Odin, you can tell how many people are talking about something. And Squid Game, everybody was talking about it for a month. It was just it dominated the conversation. Then it was gone. Then it was gone.
Yeah.
Boom. They were taking
right
that
here,
much
this is.
longer.
I just did a Google. Stranger Things season 3 is the most watched season to date. Netflix
according
says.
to.
Well, again,
What's the
all we
numbers?
can do is take on what we have. You can't argue with it. If you're asking for numbers and I give you numbers, don't say, well, it's the numbers. That's all we have is the numbers.
That's
No,
their
Jeremy's
numbers.
right,
and it goes
Jeremy's
against
right.
your argument.
Are there Stranger Things watch parties every week? No, they're not, because you can't do a Stranger Things watch party.
But the
every
point
week,
is it
'cause
hasn't
it's
fallen off on
People
numbers,
are-
Gary. You said that it
Theoretically,
falls off
okay,
on numbers.
by
fall,
choice.
fall off on what numbers? Minutes or actual views?
I don't know how they
I don't
come
know
up
either.
with their numbers. I'm
not
just
going to be calling it a Game of Thrones.
How do we get TV ratings? Nobody has ever known how we get TV ratings, Nielsen ratings. What the fuck does that mean?
It's an imaginary box.
There's a box that some people opt into.
I understand that, and nobody fucking understands how that shit works. In my life. Literally nobody has. But Gary don't want to ask questions on that because it fits his argument.
What argument?
But suddenly, there's no questions to ask about Game of Thrones numbers.
We got our new Filoni, everybody. We have the new Filoni.
We got to make it happen. The fucking numbers.
It is. What argument are we having?
Because Nielsen is so fucking trusted. We all know how that works.
Game of Thrones is. You're saying Stranger Things is bigger than Game of Thrones? Tell you what, Jeremy.
Cannot be questioned.
Jeremy, when Stranger Things goes 8 fucking seasons and becomes a cultural phenomenon for 8 fucking seasons, then we can talk.
If it keeps the quality that Game of Thrones did, then it will.
This is its last season.
And
so
you're like,
all about quality. It's all about quality. That's all this comes down to.
It's done.
I agree.
It's fucking done.
I think that's the
Stranger Things is. Did you not know that Stranger Things is fucking done after this year? It's done. It's over. So it didn't make it.
Jeremy, what you're saying is not wrong. That quality at the end of the day is going to matter over everything else.
Yes,
what we're talking about is optimizing everything.
Quality,
Why the fuck do we care about helping companies that clearly fucking hate us and tell them how to fix their bomb? Make fucking good shit and people will.
Listen, you dumb cocksucker. This is not about giving Jeff Bezos more money. We're simply talking about, right? This is all it is. To be, hey, it would be better for their business model if they did this.
Not because cares?
Shut the fuck up. This is what the
argument is. But do you have the numbers to support that? That's what I want to know.
It's better for their business. Just give me shit that I like.
Odin, I sold comic books, so if I got Spider-Man 1 through 12,
these aren't comic books, Gary. We know you ran a comic store, but these aren't comics.
Oh, I'm telling you how I can quantify the numbers. You dumb shit. Stick to teaching, and I'll teach you about running a fucking business. I sold serialized storytelling for 10 years. If I took 12 comics and sold them all at once, that'd be shit for my fucking business. I wouldn't be able to get new fucking customers, dumb fuck. That's exactly
you sold
what we're
all 12.
about.
You would have sold all 12. Whereas if you sold them all over a week, guess what? If they give up episode 6 or issue 6, then you don't sell those other 6.
Quality is not the only thing that matters. Don't
Here's a number.
What the fuck are you talking about?
1.65 billion hours.
Fantastic stuff that comes out that does not get the support that it should.
From now on, let's not release full movies anymore. Let's release them in 30-minute increments over the course of the next few months, so we can
movies
get people to
aren't
talk
serialized storytelling.
Movies
that's
are
what TV shows
completely
are.
different.
That's
medium.
what TV shows are. 30-minute increments of a movie,
and clearly it comes down to quality.
It's Nickelodeons. Let's go back to Nickelodeons. You put the nickel in and you get 5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Quality is the only decider. Look at Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad relatively was not breaking records until the final season because it took off. But you had the weekly fucking model of a fantastic show that is objectively one of the best shows we've ever seen.
Up
but it didn't
hardcore
hit
fans,
big-time numbers.
Hardcore fans seeing it every week and telling their friends after they were seeing every week, and it slowly became a water cooler show. And then people binged it after it was done, but the people who were there made it at a cultural event as it was going on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I want to know.
So again,
Jesus fucking Christ!
Shut the fuck up.
I think
it's a fair question.
You autist.
I don't know the fucking numbers. I don't fucking work there, dipshit.
It's a fair question.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Do you know why it's not a fair question? No, it's not a fair question, Odin, because we don't have numbers that show what Game of Thrones did while it was released and what Game of Thrones did in a binge model release, because those numbers don't exist.
They don't exist.
So that's why it's a dumb question to stop to keep
It's not a dumb question. It just means that there's no actual answer.
The limits.
Yes, there
That's
is.
why we're having this discussion about it.
Yes, there fucking is.
I personally think that if there's anyone that truly thinks that releasing the same quality product over an 8 to 10 week period with all of the hype, with all of the news, with all the videos people are making, with all the conversation, if you truly think that that isn't better for that product to be successful and potentially more successful than it was, I think you're a little silly if you're making that argument.
Well, okay, so Gary just said Breaking Bad was this cultural phenomenon that just sent the world into a frenzy. It got 10.3 million viewers on its final Sunday night. 10.3, which is the highest. Stranger Things season 3, 64 million people.
64
Breaking Bad is the cultural phenomenon.
No, but Netflix has 200 million subscribers, Jeremy.
That's still. Wait a minute. That still broke the record of any other show they have.
Netflix counts a view as a minute, okay? As a minute.
True.
A fucking minute. So that's 64 people who watched it for a minute.
That's the same way TV ratings.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
TV ratings are
based off an average from the Nielsen.
Based off of a Nielsen box that none of us have ever fucking had.
But it's not
I've seen one.
It's not
I've seen one.
What the fuck's it based off of?
I have a Nielsen box.
I'm not
Nobody.
Yeah, but I will just say, like, every other streaming service had a chance to go to binge model. Some did in the beginning and changed it. Why? Why would they do that? Why would
and
every
Netflix
single
is
one?
changing it now.
And Netflix is changing it now.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, I think Netflix is changing it now because Netflix has put out such bad shit that they can't sustain what their entire business model was created on, because they're putting out woke, trashy bullshit, and they only have a few titles that are actually relevant. So now they're having to utilize those relevant titles to make up for the bad fucking titles.
I agree, Jeremy, that they realize that no longer can they just fly by the seat of their pants, that they need to actually be efficient, so they used a better business model.
And that comes back to my entire argument is my entire argument is quality is the key, and they are not putting out consistent quality. They're putting out a lot of bad shit.
But that's not what the
argument is that they're putting out bad shit and it makes more views.
That's not what the argument is. Like,
what's the argument?
There is no one who's arguing with you right now on this panel that is saying quality is not the most important factor in this. Yeah. Not a single person. You're making up that argument if you think that's what the argument is.
So you think they shifted their business model? Wait, so you don't think they're shifting their business model because of low, terrible, woke bullshit that they've been pushing out that has hurt their business model overall? You think it's simply because they're just going, oh, wow, we need to, not make Stranger Things binge worthy, even though it's broken every record we've ever had.
Here's why the
straw man argument.
Okay,
a lot of things. A straw man argument.
Pure business. Why the binge model is fucking stupid is because you can just basically sign up for a month and leave.
Well,
sign
then,
up for a
so
day.
let's look at something.
Let's look at something. You want to stick them through. You want anticipation. You want to see Stranger Things. You got to sign up for 3 fucking months to watch it. At least. Okay. So you're maximizing your profits. You're maximizing your quality.
We can look at something like video games and how you have annualized releases like Madden and Call of Duty and Battlefield, and they are literally just a copy and paste almost every single year. Okay. But they make a lot of money. Okay, then you have a place like Nintendo that doesn't do that. Mario Kart comes out every 10 fucking years. They could make Mario Kart an annual release. They could make Smash Bros an annual release. They could make all these, but they don't, because the quality of the product is so good that it sustains the gap in between. But if Nintendo is putting out dog shit consistently, they're going to have to shift their business model, go, hey guys, we need Mario Kart every year to make up for these fucking losses because we're putting out dog shit.
The argument,
that's what Netflix has done.
Okay.
Yeah,
Netflix has put out dog shit.
So but who's watching Stranger Things like every week? Like, it's not the same as like playing a video game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to look the numbers that you guys are going to tell me aren't real numbers.
No, I could just, dude, we're on YouTube. We talk to people in live streams. We can tell when people are in the shit and not, especially in the nerd sphere. It's pretty fucking obvious. When they do the binge model, it's basically making a movie. You're making a movie that you're going to just release every couple of years. It's just an 8-hour movie or a 10-hour movie. And it gets treated the same, right? And people, when they binge, they don't pay attention as much. They dip in and out, and it just becomes less valuable. You devalue your product.
I also think that none of you are taking into consideration the changing world that we are in, and it's a give me everything now world. It's a social media world. It's an instant gratification world. So it's hard to keep that attention every week, every single episode, when you have so much going on and so many options. It's not 1980. It's not Who Shot JR.
That's not true, man.
There's no way you can hold that attention.
Game of Thrones blew up during the opposite on the internet. On the internet, everything was.
But so much has changed since Game of Thrones, dude.
Right, now you're comparing Michael Jordan. You're comparing Michael Jordan to everybody. That Game of Thrones was Michael Jordan in terms of its peak. No, nothing is
guys.
It's like trying to compare him to LeBron James.
This isn't about I'm not arguing what I like. This is not about that. I'm saying what's a better business model? What would help the TV show expand its reach if it was really fucking good? And I believe that is still weekly what every other streaming service besides Netflix is doing right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess the argument is like, okay, so Squid Game blew up based on a binge model, and it's the biggest thing that we've seen in forever. there's only hypothetical to say that it would have equaled that, because if it was released weekly, there's no way to know that it would have done that. We live in a world where Dread didn't make enough money to get a sequel.
Comparing like the Beatles to the
movie.
fucking Macarena. You can't. I mean, like Squid Game.
Are you seriously saying Squid Game's like the Macarena? Come on.
Yes.
One hit
wonder. One hit wonder. One hit wonder. It'll be fucking forgotten in 5 years.
No one's disrespectful to Squid Game. Like that. You're saying that because it goes against your argument. So now you're trying to call it the Macarena.
No, I think.
Odin, are you gonna?
Okay.
Come on, Keri.
I think Squid Game is. Okay. Guess what? Talk to me in 5 years.
Squid Game was fantastic.
Yeah, sure.
And to disrespect
There's a lot of people
to call it the Macarena.
There's a lot of people.
The Macarena was also fantastic.
People love the Macarena.
It was not.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
dude,
very popular.
It was the biggest thing in the world.
The roller skating rink, that was our jam.
I didn't like it, but like people loved it.
It was that.
People loved it. But there's a thing called a one-hit fucking wonder, and maybe it should be. I think Squid Game should be. I thought it was great for one thing, just like Joker was great for one thing.
I agree.
Joker 2 would be fucking retarded. Squid Game Season 2 will be fucking retarded. It'll just be repeating the same. Okay. I don't know that. I have no experience.
Well, you're speaking on hypotheticals, though.
Yes.
Like you're saying,
we don't know. We don't have it yet. We don't have it in front of us.
I always do hypothetical. Do I come out with any kind of factual information? What the fuck do you think we do here? This is YouTube.
It did, based on the binge model, it did become the biggest thing. And you're saying, but it would have been bigger if it wasn't. You don't know that.
Of course I don't know that. It's called
exactly,
speculation based on what I've fucking experienced. I don't know shit, Jeremy. I don't know. I don't
Educated
talk about
guess.
fact. It's all educated guesses of what I do.
We're all talking about hypotheticals because Jeremy doesn't know
get
if
out
it
the
was going to be
autism for
bigger
a
or not.
minute.
Exactly. That's literally
You don't
all
know
we do is
exact
talk all
numbers
day
right
about
now.
hypotheticals.
Please break out the exact numbers for me right now.
I'm providing facts that it did blow up based on the binge model. It did.
No,
that's a fact.
no.
Based on
It was good. Because it
blew
was
up
good.
in the binge model, not based on the binge model, Jeremy.
Shit.
There's a difference in what you're talking. I do not deny that it
blew
up. And I don't
up
deny
because
that
it was
binge
good
model.
and people were talking about it.
Thank
It had nothing
you.
to do with the fucking model.
Quality's all that matters. It blew up because it was good, not because of the model. Thank you.
Yes.
That's my whole argument.
That's not your argument.
Arguing.
That's not my argument.
No, my entire argument was all about quality. Give me good quality. Give us good quality stuff, and people are going to watch your shit.
That's not what I'm fucking talking about. I'm saying it's better. I'm saying it's.
I was saying that Netflix is not struggling because of the business model.
Why are you arguing about the binge
This is a typical Jeremy argument. He's talking about himself, and I'm talking about a business. Okay, I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about what I like. I'm talking about how a business would maximize its profits if it was released weekly. Is there one exception? Of course, there's always one exception.
Netflix put Blockbuster Video out of business, so clearly they have
always
some type of business understanding.
With 3 fucking nipples, okay? But most of us have 2 nipples.
They still did it. Netflix became the biggest thing in entertainment for a reason.
Yes, but Jeremy, you can look at Disney. Look how Disney became
because
so
they
big.
were
Now
supported by a bunch of
decisions, right?
Yeah.
You can't just say that because someone did. You can't just say just because someone made good business decisions in the past that every single thing they do must just be perfect.
I didn't say that. My entire argument was the reason Netflix is struggling is not because of the binge model.
His entire argument is based on Squid Game.
No.
And we're forgetting about the 100 other fucking shows that have completely failed and led to their failure right now.
You keep bringing Game of Thrones up.
Binge
Are you telling me no
model.
show has ever failed being weekly? You keep bringing Game of Thrones, so let's bring up other shows that failed being weekly. I'm just using your logic against you.
I mean, well, we can bring up a whole slew of shows that were binge-worthy that are
based on their quality.
Exactly.
Again, that's not what I'm arguing. I would say shows would do better and have proven to do better when they're weekly. That's it. That's all.
There's no data to prove that.
What are all the streaming services doing for the most part? What are the new ones doing? Paramount Plus, is it weekly? Yes.
But
Disney, is it weekly? Yes. Did Amazon Prime move some shows from binge to weekly? Yes, they did. They did.
And Netflix is doing
Netflix is fucking doing it now too. Yep. And they're going to invite in a fucking Hulu's now doing it too. And they're going to invite in an ad service because they weren't making any money off of it because people were just dumping the shit and moving on. Doesn't matter how good it is.
Go ahead, Odin. You keep wanting to say something. Go.
Oh no, I was playing tic-tac-toe with the people.
I thought you were like making a point that you wanted to say something. So
no, he's playing tic-tac-toe.
I put this up like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
And then and then when it kept going on, I then put this up.
I tried.
And then I started playing some tic-tac-toe, and I won. It was awesome. It was great.
You beat yourself at tic-tac-toe. That's kind of like this fucking argument.
In a year, and everybody loses their minds. Trust me, we'll go back to agreeing on everything.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
If you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking and sharing the videos. It really does help. And if you did this with your favorite YouTuber as well, I'm sure they would appreciate it as much as I do.